Ian.
Dave.
Ian, I want to thank you.
You want to thank me?
I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to become a father.
I thought we used protection.
We do it all virtually, so. But Ian,
yeah,
thank you so much for letting me be your autocross daddy last weekend.
Yes, you are my autocross daddy. On that note, I have something for you. Actually, this is just a start.
Ian's holding up two $1 bills.
A start for what I did to your tires. There you go.
Just feed it directly into the webcam. Thank you. I don't have Venmo, but I have Cash Money and a webcam. Let's do this.
That's the same thing, right? I just wad it up and throw it. Yeah. I feel like you took me autocross. You were very kind enough to take me autocrossing in your car in the Fiat 500 Abarth.
Yes.
And I was very nervous, especially after I rode with you.
Yeah.
So I rode with you. There's a lot of hurry up and wait at autocross.
Right.
And they really when you're dual driving, they really turn you around quick. And so there was a lot of you did have me get there very early in the morning. And then we didn't do anything for 2 hours.
Ian, we swapped tires on the car.
Yes, that's true.
We gridded. We got all this stuff. We put the numbers on the car. We got the cameras set up. We walked the course twice.
No, I know. Yep. There was activities, but it wasn't. It was. I'm showing up to drive, but then it was and then we were the second heat, so then we were fetching cones and stuff.
Right.
And so it was 10 o'clock. It was
yeah. It was 10:15 in the morning by the time you got to drive. Yeah.
Yeah. So 3.5 hours after I got there. But it happened it's go time was only 3 minutes, right? Right. On top of that, I think you were a little I had just about everything. I just need you to bring your own food, water, and camp chair, right? Yeah. And so I think that when you and I do stuff, and your helmet, I think that when you and I do stuff like that, we're used to collaborating a lot more. You bring this, I bring that, yeah.
Right. So I think you were coming in maybe feeling a little unprepared just because I had all the stuff ready to go. I have a big checklist. I've got it dialed now. Right.
And I had never done autocross before.
Right.
And I was really nervous about not seeing cones, which we'll get to. I was really, and then, obviously I was nervous about being slow, and then you drove,
yes.
And I was really nervous about being slow.
So talk about what your first autocross ride-along experience was, because you've ridden in ice racing Jeeps, you've driven race cars, you've ridden in race cars on tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when it comes to skill level of driver and the experience, I'm down there on the list.
No, you are really good at it. And it's, the thing is that your car is is different than anything else that I've ever been in before.
True.
That limit. I've driven Fiat 500s before, spiritedly.
Right. Mine even.
Yours even, yes. But 7/8 8/10 sort of thing.
Right.
Not at I'm gonna say 3,000 tenths, which is what autocross feels like. That was the thing that I was so blown away by, was how sort of violent it is.
Yeah, savage, right? Very brutal, right?
Right, because it's a shitty surface with no camber.
Right.
And really tight corners, and especially with the front wheel drive car, you just have to rotate it to get any sort of time. And you're doing it from, usually when you drive on a track,
there's usually a warm-up lap.
Right. Yeah. You were going in, see what you could do to set your fastest time. And on top of that, it was a different style event where you were only getting 6 runs total. We'll get to the total number of runs you took in a minute.
Yeah.
But you'd only have 6, where like sometimes you get like 8, sometimes 10, right? And your morning runs usually don't count. It's the afternoons ones. This, everything counted.
Yeah. And the thing that was crazy was too, like, even like the first time I drove on a racetrack was with my dad's car, with the Maserati. And it was, at least I had like pit out.
Right. You have some time, right?
You could touch the brakes, and the lap time doesn't really start on your out lap. So you can kind of figure out where you are and you can kind of build up to the limit. And in this, you have no choice but to just send it.
Right.
Right. Which is pretty bonkers.
The only time you have to learn is other autocrosses before it.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's really it. Right. Or like a test and tune day.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So riding along with you was super fun. And I was like, oh, this thing is crazy. This thing is like, because it wants your tire setup that you have on now, combined with, I think, whatever suspension tweaks you did.
Yeah.
Like
torsion bar. Thank you, Andrea. Yeah.
Yeah. It wants to spin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
real bad.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's so funny because you have to, because it does understeer, obviously. And if you don't get it rotated, basically by the time you're at the apex, then you're kind of screwed. But as I found out, it's real easy to get that wrong and way overdo it.
Right. Yeah.
The wheelbase is this big.
Right. Yes. It's a Hot Wheels. Yeah. If you don't get it right coming out of the turn, you just have to assume you're going to be going straight for a while as you understeer to try to get back on the course. Right. Yeah. Or that you're going to be slower coming out because you've had to let off the throttle to rein the front back in, blah, 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 blah. Right. Like, I think that when we started, like, we were talking about like, oh, like you have to make a choice. Like the car needs to be upset at some point. You just have to choose where you want it to be upset and where you don't. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like say like if it was a BRZ, right? You would want it to be balanced like all the time, right? Like you would want these kinds of things to be much more fluid. But with my car, it's very like on again, off again, upset, fine, upset, fine. It really vacillates.
Well, and I really found that like there was like a lot of like high risk, high reward sorts of moments where like, I think on my first lap, I nearly took out the
timing.
That's finished timing because we were so sideways. The one really nice thing about it is that it will, even though it does like sort of spit you off pretty quickly with the lift off oversteer. When that happens, you just plant the throttle and you're fine.
Yep.
Because you just count on those little front wheels to dig you out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a chihuahua at the beach, like just going ham, right? Like digging. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
So I would like to know a couple of things.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to know how you felt about how I treated your car.
Yeah.
And also just like how, I don't know, like, was there an appreciable difference between how it was driving with me versus other people driving your car? Or like, I don't know. I have really no idea how I did. I know that I was fairly close to your times.
Yes, yeah. So you were within 1 second of me.
Within a second.
Yeah. Of my fast. Of course, because you're a great driver. And I think that like all of your karting experience translates very well into the Abarth, right?
Yes.
Where like it's a bit of a mixed bag. You have to kind of learn as you go, right? And you admit that you're pretty quick at picking up a cart, right?
At a cart, yeah.
Right.
I think I'm usually slower at cars, but I think that
since this is closer to a cart,
I mean, well, and the speeds were pretty similar, and the stakes are kind of similar. You know, like I'm not gonna hit a wall,
right?
You know, that sort of thing. So
yeah.
And again, if I spin again, I just plant the throttle and it fixes it.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's fine.
Right.
I think if I had been driving some of those like Corvettes that were out there,
right,
it would have been a different story.
Yes, and same for me. You and I would just we would still be finding cones in parts of the vehicle that like that mechanics haven't seen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How'd you get a cone in the gas tank?
Yeah.
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 Okay, so my take on your driving my car, right? So I've only ever had one other person drive my car at Autocross, right? And that's Thomas, right? Mm-hmm. So stepson-in-law, right? And he's super tactile and he has a lot of like great hand-eye coordination. And he grew up he grew up driving motorcycles and all kinds of stuff, right? Farm boy, like, you know, so he's driving when he's a fetus, right?
Right.
And I mean, like, he was a little bit more similar to me, but like, say, like, where I was like racing line and stuff like that, like years ago, right? Like, kind of like coming late and then having consequences for consequences when it comes to like subsequent turns, right?
Sure.
You know, but the like fucking send it attitude was right there because I was just like, like he rode with me, right? First, you see like the way you should do it as far as like the effort you put in, like how hard to drive the car.
Right.
And he was like, oh, okay, so that's how I do it. And fucking did it, you know?
Nice.
Yeah. He did great. Like, yeah, he was within 1 or 2 tenths of me last time. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Wow, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, right? But it was after a session where he had 8 runs, and then that was his first time out. Then he was within a tenth of me after we had 10 runs each, right? That was his 10th run.
Wow. Okay.
So he had a collective like 18 sessions in the car. You had 6 and you were...
And a bit, yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah. The funny thing is, we'll get to that. But I absolutely enjoyed the way that you drove my car. Like, this is that thing, like, if I hand you a tennis racket, I don't want you to like dink it over to the net. I want you to slam the fucking ball, right? Mm-hmm, that's what it's for, man. Like, that's what this car is for, right? And yes, it is hard on it. It's not great, but like, why even have this car if like I'm not using it to like scratch this itch, right?
Right.
Because there's this place where I feel like I need to land between go-karting and track days. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's not track days, and go-karting isn't quite enough. Yeah. Right. Like, I need to own something and do it differently. Right. Mm-hmm. And wheel-to-wheel karting isn't it. Right.
Right.
This is it. Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So don't feel bad about like you didn't do anything to my car. Like, you gave it more Italian tune-up. Like, Ian. Yeah. It's a Fiat Abarth. Like, what did the people who made this, like, how did they want this to be driven?
That's true.
Right? Like, they're mad you weren't smoking while you did.
That's absolutely accurate.
Right?
I mean, luckily I was drunk, so that's at least one thing off the list.
Somebody posted on the Facebook group some great photos of you driving the car, Ian. Look at these.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Here's you hucking it. Look at that little body roll.
I'm just going to assume I'm online there.
Yep, absolutely. That's the Chicago box there. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, look at that front inside tire picking up a little bit. Yeah.
Look at the roll on that.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
And then compare that with like, oh no, that's just the standard one. Here's me.
Well, you can see the gap in the in the wheel well has completely disappeared.
Yes, it has. Right? Yeah, that suspension is all the way down. Mm-hmm. But like the way, other than me looking like I'm Gulliver inside the car, it looks like we're driving it at the same rate, buddy.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. Yeah. And that's the one thing that I loved the most about this was you were still faster than me, but there were definite parts of the course where I was faster than you.
Oh, you figured out pieces of the car and like the way that the car should be driven like better than I ever would, because like I have some bad driving habits that need to be overcome. You've already worked through all that kind of stuff. Like you.
Well, but it's also just you're very good at managing transitions in that car. Well,
yeah, right. I've got 70 autocross runs in on it. So yeah.
And that was what I was really struggling with was like you said, like getting it upset and then keeping it upset.
Right.
And that's not what it wants. It wants a break.
Yes. Yeah.
It wants a wine break.
Yeah.
And then you can get it upset again, but it needs that break in between.
It does.
Whereas you were really, really good, especially in the slalom. You're so fast in the slalom.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel like I do those fairly well. Yeah.
And I know I was losing tons of time there.
The slalom, watching you in the slalom the very first time was hilarious because you just fucking you went like straight to 90 degrees. And just like wham, like just, it was
not what you're supposed to do.
It was hilarious. We have video of it. We'll put up some kind of video eventually with this, but I can't stop giggling. And when you went sliding across the finish line almost sideways, it was fucking great. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You know what? Let me see if I can make a quick little screenshot of how you came in.
The angle at which I finished.
Yeah, that passenger one, right?
Yeah. It was not perpendicular. I was not perpendicular to the finish line.
No. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Hang on. Okay. And right. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Screenshot. Boom. Tim Apple's doing his thing. We're going to put it up in Chrome here. Boom. Here you are. So you were supposed to be coming in straight and over by those cones.
This is a left-hand turn, everybody. I'm making a left-hand turn. I am full lock.
Uh-huh.
To the right.
Yep.
In a front-wheel drive car.
Yep.
On corner exit.
Yeah, here. I have the driver's side, too. Yeah. Maybe that's a little bit better. Oh, there we go. Oh, my God. This is perfect. Okay. Here we go. Thank you, Tim Apple, for making this easy as shit. Okay. Yeah. Look at you locking up the steering wheel like that. Yeah. Your little hands were just going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, it was a totally different driving style than I've ever done before. Because, my car is front wheel drive bias, but it's also all wheel drive. So it doesn't want to be upset like that.
Right.
It does not enjoy that.
Right.
And everything else that I've driven has been rear wheel drive, that's been on a track or anything like that.
Right.
So this was totally new to me.
Uh-huh.
And it was so much fun. Like, it is hilarious to turn a car on the brakes 4 feet before the apex.
Right. And that's what it's about. This is the whole thing with this car is fun. Like undiluted fun.
Yeah.
Right. My wife loves driving it because it makes her think of like her parents' classic Beetles and her zipping in and out of traffic.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like it's infectious. Right.
Yeah. Especially when you put like all seasons on the back.
There's sport all seasons, Ian.
Sporty. They're sporty. I mean, oh man. I mean, it was a blast. And it really was cool to see that the differences in our driving styles.
Yeah.
Like it really I appreciated afterwards I was like thinking about it on the way home and stuff, and I was like appreciating the course design too, because it, you know, in such a small space, each lap was like 40 seconds long or whatever or less, and it was still long enough for both of us to have spots to kind of shine. You know? Yeah, absolutely. And for obvious improvements to be areas to be presented. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like I need to figure out how to do a slalom, which apparently I suck at. And also like I just need to like figure out some of these. I need to like take fewer chances on some of the slower.
Yes.
On some of the slower corners.
Yes.
Because I was getting a little overzealous.
Yeah. And I have a lot of braking to figure out.
Your braking technique is the thing that's letting you down for sure.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing that I think I managed better was, especially on the back section, there was like a fast section in the back, and on like the exit of the kind of most sweeping corner that there was, I think I managed the understeer on exit a little bit better, and I was able to like be a little faster on exit, and you plowed into understeer a little bit more.
Yes.
And I think I made up some time on you there, but then you immediately made it up through that Chicago box thing. So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it was crazy how many different, like you said it the other day, like between the two of us, we had one amazing lap in us.
Right. Yeah. Like you give me the slalom, we give you like the longer sweepers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You give me like kind of a few things that need to be like rapidly strung together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll take the tricky braking zone.
Yeah. There you go.
And then we're all set.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that means you just sit on my lap during the next lap. Yeah. Yeah. Here's the rough course design. You know, they put these maps up online before the events so people can kind of get a feel for them. Ian, let's talk about your invisible cones. Well, before we talk about that,
right.
You did your first lap and you looked over at the timing, and what did it say?
Oh, it was, I don't remember what it was on the first lap.
It was all zeros.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we pull in, and the first thing we ask is, did we do something wrong?
I just assumed that I broke it. Oh, that's right, because I thought did I actually run over something? Because I was so crossed up coming over the finish line.
Right.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And so I have the video of all of this. So yeah.
Okay.
So we asked if we had done something wrong. It turned out that there was just a timing error. And so I only got 6 runs. You actually got 8 runs.
Yeah, because the same thing happened on my last run.
Right. Yeah.
Which that one killed me.
I'm gonna figure out your time on that, because like if you look at the driver's side camera that we have here, you can see the time in Track Addict. So we have like, not only do you have me like lining up where you cross timing in the video and counting cones, we have this, like I figured out that your first one, I have math here, Ian. Math here. Yeah. I had to get out the calculator app for it. But your first run was a 43.2.
Okay.
Roughly plus or minus 0.2 either way. Yeah. 2 or 0.3 maybe. Right. So 43 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. Well, your first run was like a 41.
My first run was a 42.8.
Yeah. So I'm thrilled with that.
Yeah.
Especially considering this is how I finished.
Yeah, that you finished going sideways across the line. Yeah.
I did not hit any cones. I will say I did not hit a single cone.
So on the autocross initiation checklist, right? Drive, you did that, right? Shag cones, you did that a fair amount, right?
Yeah.
Spin the car, you did not do. Got close. Right?
Very close.
And hit a cone. So you're 50% through the trophies achievement unlocks.
Okay.
Okay,
for my level 1.
Yes, this is your B spec license inside of Gran Turismo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a delightful day. I like one of the the car is crazy fun. It's adorable, like seeing it little toot scoot out there. I mean, come on, right? Like,
and people loved it. People were coming up to us all day and stuff.
It was the most attention the Abarth has gotten.
Okay.
But yeah, like people tell me that they like it, and I very much appreciate it, right? Because I always tell people when I like their cars too, right?
Yeah.
And in a giant field of M2s and M3s, it's fun to be the weird Abarth person, right?
Definitely.
And but like having the car, owning the car, driving the car, that's all great. But another layer is sharing the car, right? And seeing how someone else can enjoy the car, seeing somebody else like get the same kind of thrills out of it that I get out of it. So like when my wife drives it, it makes me really, really happy. When my podcast wife drives it, it makes me really, really happy. And, and when family members drive it, seeing my mom in it, it was really funny. And yeah, so it brings me a lot of joy, and I'm very, very thankful for this little nugget. Yeah.
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 You should be.
Thank you.
It was a blast. And the other thing I was thinking about too is, so I mean, we'll get to it, but like I did all of the car things this
no shit
4-day span.
Yeah.
But I have a Lemons race coming up, and one thing that I always sort of struggle with, and I've talked about it on the show before, is like approaching the limit when the consequences are higher. How do I tiptoe up to that with a little more confidence, and just having a time where I can feel a car move around underneath me, and knowing that I know what to do.
Right.
I just did it,
those instincts are there, right?
Yeah. And so just having that, a little bit of a confidence boost.
Yeah.
Of, getting into something that I've never really driven at the limit before.
No, on a platform, right? Like you've never really driven a front wheel drive car like that before, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. With mismatched tires, and I did okay.
Yeah.
So I very much appreciated that from it.
Yeah.
I will say the one thing that's eating at me like crazy is my last official run.
Yes. Yes.
I strung together the best lap that I had done all day.
It was brilliant. Yeah.
And I was so pumped. And then again, I crossed the line and it was all zeros. And I was just like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this one said 67 seconds or something. That was the.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So tonight, after we're done recording, I will look at the video and I will add it up, and I will get you your estimated time.
I was so distraught, and then I got a rerun, which was great, but
right
in a surprise to absolutely nobody, I then fucked it up. Fucked it up real good.
You got a 40. So yeah, my fastest was a 40.9. You got a 41.7 something on your final run. Yeah, you had an issue with 1 point. You overcooked something.
Yeah, I was a 41.7 with a very big moment.
Yep.
I mean, bigger than the first lap. Starting line 1. Like, big enough that the corner workers were laughing at me when I drove past them.
That was the closest I've ever seen and experienced to the car spinning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, I'm going to really rotate this thing.
Yeah. And you did.
And I did.
Like
and
it
wasn't what I wanted to do.
Like a meatball rolling across the street. Yep.
I thought I could carry more speed than I had before, and I was incorrect.
Well, it's a challenging car to drive. Like, I think like this is not the car that if you want to like really be competitive and like really lay down consistent times, this is not the car for it. But if you want to have a fucking party, this is the car for that.
Right? Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's not enough torque.
No.
You know, first off, you know, the handing is kind of maniacal because the wheelbase is so short.
Right. And boost is all over the place.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes you have power, sometimes you don't.
Exactly. It's anybody's guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the restaurant open? I don't know. It's Italy.
It's my grandmother's birthday.
She's been dead for 20 years. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah. It's all of those things, but it is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it makes all the noises.
Yeah.
All of the noises.
Yeah.
Tire squeal.
Exhaust.
Whooshes,
yep. Turbo noises.
Bangs. Like, it's so many things.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's not going to win anything except our hearts. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's the other nice thing too about it is like it's so low stakes of like.
Yes.
You know, it's so unserious as a competitor that you can't help but have fun. The other great car that was out there was that 80s 5 Series.
Oh, yeah. I love seeing that guy out there. And he turned some great laps.
Yeah, he was actually pretty quick. But the body roll on this thing, like you could fit the Fiat in between the fender and the tire. Like the lean was insane. It was hilarious.
Yep.
It's hilarious.
I love that he has the factory dash lamp.
Yeah,
like installed and like you can see its gooseneck.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a late 80s 535. It's unbelievably awesome.
Yeah. It's so great. Yeah.
Well patinaed.
Yeah. Yeah. You see some fantastic cars at Autocross, right? Mm-hmm. And fucking M2s are just quick as shit, man.
So fast.
Right? Yeah. God, yeah. I have a picture of our boy Peta at Autocross from a previous event while I was gathering pictures this evening. If you want to see his beautiful E36.
I love seeing that car. The E36s all did really well there.
Right? Yeah.
They were all really good.
It is.
Good. And they sound so cool.
Right? Yeah. Oh, crap. Because it's a TIFF for some reason, I can't open it. Well, here, I'm going to open it. I'm going to take a screenshot of it. Jesus.
Do you want to use your phone? You just want to take a picture of your computer screen with your phone and then text it to me to have me fax it to someone?
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Right? Yeah. So there's Peta kicking it up.
And it's Palmy.
Yep. Absolutely. I love the color of that car so much. It handles so well. And I think Peta's going to be able to do the autocross with me in September. The downside is we have to wait almost a month before the next event. It's the last event of the season. I think Peta's going to be at that one. I cannot wait to see the results of the Peta switch that's flipped. So, yeah. So
that's awesome.
There you go. Yeah. So tell me about like your Autocross desires now that you've been with me. Do you want to co-drive the Fiat like 1 or 2 times a season? Do you want to bring your car out? Do you see yourself like doing this at all?
Yeah, I would like to. I was thinking about that. I definitely want to co-drive the Fiat.
Yeah.
It's fun to do it together. I think
it is. We have a good time together. Yeah.
I think that was part of it, honestly. I think if I had done it by myself, I definitely would not have had as much fun. And I don't think I would have gone as hard. I think I would have been just frustrated and, I wouldn't have had a frame of reference.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like the riding with you first was really helpful.
Yeah.
And I don't know how fun my car would be there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it would do well. I think it could do well because it does like scoot out of corners pretty well and that sort of thing. But it's not going to be competitive with the fucking GTR or the M2s or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't know what I would want to do, and I feel like it would be really hard on it.
The pavement surface is pretty intense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think
I feel like High Plains is not as hard on my car as that would be.
You're definitely dealing with like slower transitions of weight and less bumps.
Yeah. I mean, even taking curb.
Yeah.
In some spots at High Plains is not as, and most racetracks that I've been to, it's not as violent as some of the bumps and pavement changes, like surface changes and stuff like that. And there was like big holes and stuff, like bits of broken pavement in places too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I want to do it more. I don't know how much more.
Yeah, sure. I get that. Yeah.
Honestly, I was thinking like it would be nice to get the race truck people out there as like, to do test and tune and stuff. Again, just because it would be good to feel it move around and see what happens when it starts to move around.
Yeah, right.
Doing that before a Lemons race feels like it would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, at least like
surprise.
Yeah, at least a few runs, right? Yeah.
Yeah, even just one day, even just like a test and tune day.
Yeah.
Just to kind of feel like, how does it deal with a transition? How does it do with a trail break? What happens when you get on the power too early? Does the rear come around on you? Like all that sort of stuff would be nice to know before you're wheel to wheel.
No, that's a great point, right? And like I think like having that kind of compression of an autocross course, like, and all of those things happening inside that environment, it'd be much more manageable when you take all of that stuff that happens in that environment and just expand it out to such a larger radius, right?
Yeah.
Well,
it's just a way to get a lot of information really, really quickly.
Exactly. Exactly. Right.
So yeah, I'm really thankful for the experience and I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. And yeah, the just driving a car at the limit and sometimes a little bit beyond was exactly what I needed. So it was good. It was really cool.
Good, man. Good. If you ever feel like your VW would be okay doing one, session of autocross, I would love to see it out there. But I completely understand what you're saying about it potentially being too hard on the vehicle, right? I think if you had a little bit more ride height, maybe, but you have it pretty dialed for the track, Yeah.
I don't know. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But, you're always welcome to drive the Nugget with me. So.
Oh, man. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway. I did seriously all of the car things last week. So that was on Sunday we did Autocross.
Right. Yep.
And then, but the Friday before that, I also did Test and Tune Day with the Lemons team.
Yep.
With the truck. We got the 24-hour race coming up. And I will say, we have another thing to talk about that's bigger, but really quickly while we're talking about motorsport stuff.
Yeah.
Test and Tune Day with the race team was awesome. We've, I think, figured out most of the gremlins that kept us off the track in June, and they all make sense. Like it's one of those things. Like in retrospect, like, oh, yeah, yes,
right.
So there was holes in the headers.
Right.
The headers were all rusty, And all of that was before the O2. And we couldn't figure out why the engine was going lean all the time. And it's because all of the gases, all of the air was escaping before the O2 sensor. And so it was retarding spark and all that sort of stuff. Which is what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so I got to drive it, and we were also had a fueling issue that we found and we fixed. Brian, the team owner, pulled out. We had they have a fuel cell in the back, and they have like a fill jug in it, where basically there's a hydromat, and then there's a pump that fills the fuel jug, and then the fuel jug is what gets pumped to the thing. Well, the pump, whatever was going on with the fuel jug, was not working.
Okay.
And so I was running laps, and the car was dying after like 3 or 4 corners every lap. And it didn't matter what I did. Didn't matter like what gear I was in. Didn't matter what throttle position I had. Didn't matter what RPM I was at. It would just on corner exit.
Okay.
Like a couple of different corners. And we figured, okay, so that's fuel. It's got to be fuel. And essentially, we've been out of gas for a year because we had like this issue in September too, a little bit.
Right.
So they took that out. Brian went out, and it was totally fine.
Okay.
But it's running way better. They put shorter gears in it. So we were like nearly 10 miles an hour faster on the back straight.
Okay.
It's running better than it ever has. And I have actual confidence in like what happens when I touch the brakes and when I turn the steering wheel and all of that. So I'm super excited for the race.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah. I cannot wait to hear the results of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think I figured out too is I think I really, really enjoy tested 2 days. Like,
okay. Yeah. That fits well with like what we do for a living.
Yeah. Right. I like being a test driver. It's fun. There's not a ton of like, you got to be fast, but you don't have to be like the fastest. Like you don't have to be setting crazy fast lap times. You need to be setting consistent lap times.
Right. And you have to know when something's not right.
And be able to describe it, which is sort of, my day job.
Right.
Being able to describe technical things in English.
Yeah.
Is my day job. So
a fucking nerd decoder ring.
Right. Yeah. I talk to the engineers so the customers don't have to.
Right.
Yeah. No, I really enjoy doing test days and coming back to the pits, debriefing, figuring out what's working, what's not.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Anyway,
I'm really excited for you to turn some laps in anger in the race truck.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah. Give Ian a rear wheel drive, manual transmission, caged Chevy S10 with a big ass V8 up front, and just let him go ham, man. That's what you do.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Right? Yeah.
But more importantly, the day before that, so like Thursday, Friday, Sunday, man, we did all the car things.
All the things.
Last week on Thursday, we did a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We did the annual Rocky Mountain Driving Experience, which is like a press event that our automotive press association out here in Colorado puts together, which allows us to drive a whole bunch of new cars, which we don't get to do all that often. And we got to drive some really, really cool stuff this year.
We got to drive, like, we were more excited about this list than we've ever been in it. Right? I mean, like
in a long time, I think.
Yeah, I'd say yeah, right? Like not since like the Corvette Carbon 65, the Lexus GSF, like all of those things.
Was really good, yeah.
Right? Yeah. This stacks up to it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I was legit super excited to get into.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get the highlights.
Yeah.
Taggy.
Yeah, the new 2023 Acura Integra.
We drove the Integra. We drove the Z.
Yep, the Nissan Z.
we drove the Civic Si. We drove.
Yep. 3 times.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We drove the Kia EV6, which I'm super psyched about, and then the Genesis GV60 Performance, which was bonkers.
Which is an EV. When we were reading the sheet, we didn't know that it was an EV. Genesis GV60 Performance. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
EV.
Very interesting cars. And the Grand Cherokee, the 4xe.
Yep.
And a couple other Lexus SUVs and some other stuff was there. Some things we didn't get to. But those were the ones that we were really excited about.
Yeah.
And we got to get some good seat time in all of them. We're going to do some dedicated episodes coming up on definitely the Integra and the SI.
Mm-hmm.
That'll probably be the first one. And then I'm very excited to talk about the Z.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the EVs as well. But Dave, I do want to ask you specifically about the GV60 Performance.
Sure.
Because we drove the EV6, and so we got asked on our previous episode when we said we were going to drive the EV6.
Yeah.
Jeff from Everyone Racers asked us to said he was very excited to hear about our impressions. I love the EV6.
Me too. Hands down. Adore.
At the price point, it feels like the first. I've not driven any Teslas. Oh no, I drove a Tesla 3. But it feels like the first EV that I've driven that feels like a legit, like, oh, this would solve all of my family car requirements. Like,
yes.
You know, it's got the space. It's a wagon. It's essentially a tall wagon.
Yeah. Here, I'll pull up a picture of it.
Got a big back seat. It's got very thoughtful interior touches. It's not slow.
No, not by any means.
It's not the fastest thing. You know, it's slower than the Tesla that I drove, and it's definitely slower than the Genesis. Excuse me.
Yeah, but it looks great, and it still scoots. It has respectable performance.
Yeah, I mean, it's got like 380 horsepower.
Yeah.
So, and there's a GT coming. Did you see that?
They announced that's great.
Like the day after we drove this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, GT line. Okay.
Yeah, there's a GT coming with, I think, close to 500 horsepower.
Okay.
Anyway, I love the EV6.
Yeah.
We then got into the GV60.
Mm-hmm.
And we were also driving on like a pretty tight little road.
Yes, like a proper mountain back road.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We had kind of like a 4-lane highway sort of situation through the mountains, and then we had a tight little back road that we drove on. And I think that was the car that maybe you got scared in the most.
In the GV?
In the GV60.
Well, yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, there's a big yellow-green button on the steering wheel that says boost. Yeah. You know what happens when you hit that? You get a fuckload of power for 10 seconds.
It's like 100 extra horsepower.
Yeah.
You get the full 480 horsepower.
Yeah, and you can do it over and over again.
Yeah.
And you had your finger embedded into that button.
Yeah. It is crazy. So the gap between corners.
Yeah. Vaporizes.
Gone.
Yeah.
Right. And I know I've driven faster cars than that, but that thing feels so rapid.
Yeah.
And it gives you such a good massage while you're doing it.
That's right. Yeah. It has driver's side seat massagers. I don't know if passenger side is optional.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. And most massagers only do the back. This one had the seat massager as well. So it was getting in the nooks and crannies of my English muffin. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my God. It was though. It was. It really was. And yeah, the interior is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic in that thing. I love it. And I think the way that I said it was that the EV6 is everything you would need.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like everything you want as well. You know, like I think it was the one that we drove was what? Was it 70?
Yeah.
About 70 grand before incentives and stuff. It was $70,000 and it felt every bit of that.
Right.
I mean, it was unbelievable. I think that's unbelievable value for the money, honestly. And the same with the EV6. The EV6 we drove was about 50 before incentives and stuff. And honestly, like, they are fucking killing it right now.
Yeah. Right.
That whole company is just on it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fantastic. They're amazing cars. Like, yeah, you're exactly right. It cannot be said better. Like, what you need and what you want, you have it right there.
Yeah. I mean, the EV6, like the little touches, like the place to hang a purse.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those little purse hooks with the storage underneath the console. The what's the quiet button for?
Oh right, yeah. I forgot. The quiet mode, where if you're on a road trip and the kids are watching a tablet or something in the back, you can hit a mode in the infotainment to basically whatever, dumb podcast you're listening to, you can have it only on the front speakers.
Right.
So the parents can listen to something and not disturb sleeping children or watching children or whatever in the back. Just like little stuff like that is just so thoughtful, but it makes, living with a car like just so much better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, they're on it. Like if you're at the point where you can pay attention to those sorts of details.
Right. You fixed a lot of problems before that.
Yeah. You got shit dialed.
Right. Yeah.
I know people are still, it boggles my, like I mentioned to Jenny when I got home, I was like, oh, this Kia EV6 is probably our next car.
Right.
And she was like, a Kia?
Right.
I was just like, yeah, people are still sleeping on
Kia
Hyundai,
Yep.
And you shouldn't
right.
be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure we'll go more into depth on that stuff because I want to do
definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, the other one that I want to address really quickly because we got comments on this on social media as well is your time with the Z.
Yeah, my time was with the Z. I wore my blue shirt just for this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Z was a beautiful blue.
It was gorgeous.
Right? The paint job quality, more Ultima than Infinity, but
it was a pre-production car.
Okay.
So that might have something to do with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
It was a 6-speed manual.
Yes. V6 twin turbo, 400 horsepower.
Yes.
Rear wheel drive, 2 seats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2 seats. Now, 2 endorsements. What do you? Because your initial, you had a real journey. You went on like a literal journey in that car, but also a figurative one.
Right, but I think that we need to save it for the full episode. I don't want to spoil anything, but like with you, like it's funny. I feel like our roles were reversed because like a lot of times you just with me, you get all of me right up front. Hey, what's up? I love you. Right. You're a little bit cooler, right? And and calculated. Right. And with this, it was very much.
I think you're trying to say that I'm prickly. An asshole. Yes.
Nope. But I think our roles were reversed. And that is all I will say about it at this time. Yeah. Okay. But wait for the dedicated Z episode because we will definitely dedicate an entire episode to the new Nissan Z.
Great. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
We did do some predictive.
Yes,
things.
Our FMK cars from last week, from before we were driving.
And I think we should probably close that circle.
Yes, so let's revisit what our choices were, right? So I gave you an FMK of the Civic Si, the Nissan Z, and the Acura Integra, right? You chose to F the Si, marry the Z, and kill the Integra. Do you stand by this decision?
You know, that's a tougher decision than I thought it would be.
Okay.
I stand by killing the Integra.
Okay.
Although I will say there is many things about the Integra that I liked, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into it.
I will verify here that it does look way better in person than it does in photographs.
Exactly. Yep.
Those reports are true.
Right.
I don't know what it is about that car, but it photographs terrible.
Awful. It's like they engineered a car to specifically do that, but look better in person.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah.
It's the most of that I've ever seen.
Right. Yeah.
Of any car.
Yeah.
Anyway, but for reasons that we will get into next week, I'm going to kill the Integra.
Okay.
I've been thinking about that SI a lot.
The SI versus the Z, as far as what you're going to F and what you're going to marry, right?
Yeah. But I mean, just full stop, I've been thinking about the SI.
Yeah.
But also the Z.
Right?
Man, that's such a close call.
Okay.
I think at the end of the day, I think the Z might win it from sheer speed.
Okay. Miles and smiles.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, it just me and it we had a moment just immediately. It was like just a little, that first, like, you lock eyes across the room and like,
I'm gonna marry you.
We need to chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, the SI does get under your skin. So I'm gonna stay with my rankings.
Okay.
F the SI, marry the Z, kill the Integra.
Okay.
What would you do in that ranking?
I think I would F the Z, marry the SI, and kill the Integra.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then yours, before we started.
Well, hang on. I'm sorry. I think I might want to change it. I think I want to marry the Integra.
Oh,
and
I can't wait for next week.
I'd have to kill the SI and then F the Z. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm excited to talk about this more next week for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So yours.
Yes.
You had the Lexus LX.
Yes.
You did drive. We haven't really talked about that. The EV6, and then we had the Hyundai. Was it the Palisade?
Palisade. Let's go ahead.
We didn't actually drive that.
We didn't actually drive it. How about we swap that out with the Jeep 4xe?
Oh, perfect.
The Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe.
Yes.
Which we did drive.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So
and proceed.
I chose to F the Lexus LS600, marry the EV6, and kill the other, right? In this case, it'd be the Jeep. I think that I'm still completely marrying the Kia EV6. It's a fantastic car, right?
Yeah.
And definitely effing the Lexus LX. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that, which means I'd have to kill the Jeep, but I think that, like, and we'll certainly talk about it, but I think it's too middle of the road to make me want, like, my life is not something that needs that, right?
Yeah.
That I think has like a lot of other dovetailing interests that I don't have, right? Or needs. And not that there's anything wrong. There's probably something wrong with something on my side more than anything, but that it's just over there. It's just something that I walk past. And so I think while it's a great truck, I feel like I think you do have to kill it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? I mean, obviously marrying the EV6, right?
Yeah, marrying the EV6, and then I mean, if it's against the Jeep, I think I'd kill the Jeep as well, and the Lexus, because the Lexus is, I mean, it's, you know what? I'm gonna kill the Lexus. I'm gonna kill the Lexus
okay,
and F the Jeep 4xe, because the 4xe, I really like that package. I really like that drivetrain. And the seats were pretty nice.
They were really nice. Yep.
Were pretty nice in there as well. We had a day of massaging seats apparently.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the silent off-roading thing.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
That I think that's worth a day in that alone.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
The Lexus thing is exactly what you think it is.
Right. Just a giant luxury SUV.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right? Twin turbo V6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it. You get it. You know what this is.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to the golf club. We know. Everybody knows what this is. We know
Everyone.
what we're doing here.
Right?
This is the most successful realtor in Scottsdale. We all know.
They own the Upper West Side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You try to come north of 43rd, they're going to eat your lunch.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, what else we got?
I think if you want to close it out with a license plate game,
let's do it.
You want to do that? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let me crack open the good old Ian Don't Look folder. Ian, this one is called If This Car's a Rockin'. Okay. Here you go, buddy.
I will not finish that for you.
Take it all in. Take it all in, Ian. Here we go.
Oh my God.
Here's everything. Ian's gonna digest this. I'm gonna narrate here. You got a baby blue, a sky blue Buick LeSabre up top. You've got a Chevy Suburban, a silver Chevy Suburban in the middle there. Then you've got a maroon, dark red Chevy Camaro with some chrome accoutrement, right?
I think I already know. I think I already know.
Well, tell the people what the license plates are.
The license plates are Tool 462, which is a reference to a Tool song.
Right, 46 and 2. Yeah.
There's Fab 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Funk Bus.
Funk Bus. Yes. Funk Bus. Yep.
I mean, I'm just going to, right off the bat, there's 0% chance that the Tool license plate belongs to anything other than that fucking Camaro.
Do we need to zoom in on some details?
I want to zoom in.
The tribal chrome license plate frame.
Yeah, I don't need to see the rest of the Camaro. I already get it. I know.
You know it. Okay.
I need to see the shit that's in the back of the Buick window.
Okay.
Because there's a bunch of like oh, it's like a lay.
Yeah, like lays, and then it has one of those old cell phone antennas.
Yeah.
That goes like the one with the thing through the glass. Yeah.
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 So my initial thought is that this is Fab 4.
Okay.
Okay, which leaves Funk Bus, which is the most bus-like vehicle, the Suburban.
Right. Right.
And also the least funky vehicle here.
You don't think
makes
those
this sort of sense?
You don't think a Buick is funky? Or you think a Buick is more funky than a Suburban?
I think a 90s era Buick being on the road with like a lay in the back is more funky. Because you're seeing those out now, you notice them.
Right.
That era Suburban, they're everywhere.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm done here. I think obviously there's no like Tool fan Camaro. Like I mean just right, with a tribal tattoo license plate frame. If that license plate isn't on that Camaro, I'm gonna go find the car that it's on, and I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna go put it on the Camaro.
I like that you're going to exercise license plate justice.
Yeah,
You're a vigilante on the streets patrolling for any car that has a disparate vanity plate.
yes, that is clearly the car that belongs with. I mean, there's no.
I like how upsetting it is to you that
I'm already angry that I'm wrong.
You made me hiccup with how bad you are.
I'm pre-angry. I'm pre-angry about me getting this wrong because clearly that's what should be the right answer. You just need to show me.
Okay, here we go.
Do I have it right?
You have it completely right.
Because of course I do.
Oh, thank you, Chris, for sending in the Buick with the Fab Four. I had to black out the license plate frame on that too.
Baby, you can drive my car. Yeah.
Right, it's got a Beatles license plate frame.
Yeah.
PETA sent us the Funk Bus. Thank you, PETA. And then I myself witnessed the Tool 46 and 2 Camaro. I took him with my own eyes.
That is. Folks, they added extra chrome.
Yeah.
Around the taillights, around the.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is a thing of beauty.
Right.
This doesn't actually. I will say they converted it so it does not run on gasoline anymore. You just spray Axe body spray right into the tank, and it just scoots on down the road.
That car to me is like the meme of the guy talking to the girl, right?
Yes. That's exactly what it is.
Yes, it is this guy, right? or this guy, like 46 and 2 refers to, right? Like, yeah. See, he's making Freudian references, right?
Mm-hmm.
What? Yeah.
No, yeah, the guy with the green cup is the one that I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, the guy with the sunglasses as well.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's completely.
Yeah.
That's a good catch.
Thank you. Yeah, that is definitely. You know what? That's maybe a good potential game. Match the vibe of the car to the meme. Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god, that car does have a very specific vibe, and I am uninterested in it.
Right. Yeah, that vibe shut us in lockers in high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I had therapy this morning. I had a session. I'm thinking that I might need to book another one pretty quick here to work through stuff coming up right now with this Camaro. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a good spot.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Dave, we did a top to bottom car show.
It was it was all cars, Ian. Oops, all cars episode.
Oops, all cars. Yes.
Yep.
If people enjoyed Oops, all cars, what shall they do?
Subscribe on YouTube, definitely. Text us weird vanity plates, 720-515-1391. Or just weird shit you see out on the road. Yeah, definitely do that.
We're also on the media's social, so you can send them there too.
Yep.
I'll get them. And I will probably remember to have them on the show.
You know, they go in a hopper, right? Yeah, because I've had these musical plates for quite some time. So, yeah. Tool was the one that pushed it over the edge. Yeah. Yep.
So good. So good.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, we love you. We will talk to you soon.